Hi, I'm Pete from Tritonic. Today, and for the next few days, I'm going to be making another fretless guitar conversion. Currently, I've made 2 fretless guitars in my time, each with varying degrees of success, but both generally functional fretless guitars. What I've done is I've taken an old normal guitar, taken the frets out, put in wood filler, sanded it down, applied a lacquer, and then restrung it, and then started using a fretless guitar. This is the guitar that I'm going to be using this time. Hopefully this time I'm going to be using a variety of slightly different techniques, hopefully improved techniques, so that I'll hopefully come out with a better product at the end of it. I bought this guitar for about £100 on Gumtree. I got it because there's a big chunk in the back and some people really mind about that, I don't, so that's why I got it cheap. It's a maple neck, which may create some problems down the line. We'll find out if that's the case. But this time I'm ensuring that I'm having the same neck as the main bodies of the guitar, so that I know that intonation, those things will generally be the same, and I'm not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Come with me as I ruin this perfectly good guitar, and we'll hopefully make lots of mistakes along the way.
You've ruined a perfectly good jacket!
Incorrect, Marge. 2 perfectly good jackets.
For this project, you are going to need a screwdriver, a pair of pliers, 1 soldering iron, super glue and wood filler, this kind of brush thing, and special sanding block. First step that we're going to do, we're going to take off the strings and take off the neck, so we're not going to worry about the body of the guitar at all.
Voice clicks, black, opium gold. In a cannon with the eyes of wolves. You're a swimmer, let the ocean pays the price.
With the fretboard off now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my soldering iron, it's off at the moment, and essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to heat up the frets, like so, and then I'll use my fret pliers, or nippers, as I've heard some people call them, and I'll try and do this so I can heat up the glue of the frets, just walk the pliers along so that the frets will pop out, rather than, as before what's happened, I've basically ripping them out with the pliers, which has led to a really chipped fretboard. So I'm going to try and use the soldering iron method today to avoid that, so I get a nicer finish on the neck. So that is quite an involved process, but I would say that the frets are definitely coming out a lot cleaner than not using the soldering iron. So only 20 or so more to go. I'll see you at the end. One tip, don't be like me and check your phone mid-solder and accidentally burn a hole into your fretboard. I'm going to use the wood filler now. I'm going to take simple Ronseal wood filler, fill that in, try and use as little as possible just to get it in the fret itself. I'm going to try and use as little as possible, wipe away the excess. The wood filler has now dried. I've got quite a nice finish on there. I just had a little go over with my sanding block just to smooth off any little bumps and lumps that were just there. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take these foam brushes that I got for a couple of quid off Amazon, and I'm going to do the first couple of layers of super glue, and then I'm going to let that dry, do another layer, let that dry, maybe sand it down, see how it feels, maybe do a couple of layers after that. So this is ultra thin CA super glue, cyanacrylate adhesive, if you know what that means. I'm going to take this, a few drops along here, and then I'm going to smooth it over. things have escalated quite quickly. So I didn't like the way that the super glue, the CA ultra thin super glue was drying. It was kind of a bit patchy here and there, so I waited for it to mostly dry, and then I just thought I'd give it a quick level out with my leveling block. I'm pretty sure this is a specific guitar tool. It's kind of got rough sandpapery sides. So I then started leveling it out, and then I sort of got really into it, and I started leveling it out a lot more, and I just sort of kept going at it with the various different thicknesses, etc. And currently I've got a feeling it's feeling really nice to the touch, you know, once I've sort of got most of the dust off. I'm thinking that it might not need any more coats. I've got two options here. You can either give it another coat of the CA glue here, or what I was originally thinking was perhaps because I didn't like the way it dried, that I would need to maybe go back to my usual method of using polyurethane spray over the top. However, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a bit more of a sand, tidy it up a little bit, and then I'm going to just have a go restringing it as it is. Now, maybe I've been very arrogant thinking there doesn't need to be a lacquer or something, but I'm going to see how it feels, because there's clearly some kind of coat on it. It's feeling lovely and smooth to the touch, the smoothest fretboard I've ever achieved, so something to be said there. I'm going to restring it, I'm going to see what happens. If I like it, I'll keep it as it is. If not, probably will either try again with a polyurethane method, which I've done before, which is a spray, and doing a few layers of that. By luck more than judgment, we're finished already. Once I'd started sanding it down, I found that the fretboard actually felt a way that I actually quite liked. So I decided to have a go restringing a couple of strings just to see what it sounded like, and it felt pretty good. I added a bit of fast fret, and now the guitar is sounding really good. I think the main part of success was using a proper leveling block like this rather than a normal sort of curved radial sanding block that I've used before, which was actually quite cumbersome. This seemed to really do the job. A proper leveling block, I think is what they're calling it, and if you're a luthier you can correct me. So I would thoroughly recommend a leveling block rather than a radial block that other people might recommend. This was the key thing here, to make sure I was getting a completely smooth level finish on it. Now, it might be the case that without enough coatings of super glue that maybe the fretboard will wear away, but at the moment it's feeling pretty nice. It's the most level I've ever got a fretboard before. With the fast fret and with some new strings, it's feeling very nice to play. I put it in drop C because I find it easier to play, and that's kind of the style of music that I play. I hadn't really played around with the action already. I think using a guitar that you know everything matches up beforehand rather than trying to mix and match next like I've done before just made the process a lot quicker, a lot smoother, a lot easier. So I would definitely recommend taking one guitar and doing it just to that guitar alone. So this is how it's sounding at the moment without any amplification at all. So here we are, I've plugged it all in. I'm going to show what it sounds like with just direct input, no effects. Okay, now I'm going to put some effects on it, play around with it a little bit more. So I'm going to leave it there. I invite you to try and make your own fretless guitar conversion. My top tips would be either do the polyurethane layer or the superglue layer, but my main tip, you don't need any of these things. The use of a soldering iron and the use of a leveling block would be my two new innovations that I would do definitely if I was doing this another time. All the music you've heard has been by me or my band Tritonic. Hopefully our next album is going to include lots of these different fretless guitars in a way that will be probably quite unlistenable, but hopefully once you've got your own fretless guitar you'll be able to explore the rich harmonic inventiveness where there are no boundaries. Thank you for watching. See you later.